So is that an indictment on HYPREP or the federal government?
Well, it's an indictment on nobody. What we just need to do is to correct past mistakes, and that's what this project is about.
If you are not following the right procedure, is it the right guidelines stipulated by the UNEP report that you're violating now? Because everything is...
Please get me right. I say what we have done previously, that is, as a people, the way we have carried out remediation in the previous 30 years, 40 years ago, hasn't done the professional way. And this is the first attempt. This is our first attempt to get it done properly. And what you're expecting are those same practices that we did over those 40 years that got us into this mess, where we should have put bulldozers and those things we call actual remediation to be done immediately. It's not done like that. There has to be site study, site characterization, identifying the pollutants and the best methods for the removal. That is a painstaking and a highly technical exercise. That is what we are currently doing. And we are doing this thoroughly to ensure that by the time we get to that stage where there will be remediation, we have all the data, we have all the facts, we have the right technology, and we deploy and have a very credible remediation exercise at each of these sites. And every site we are studying specifically, because none of these two sites are the same. So if you look at work that you need to do, there were initial 64 sites identified. These are not the only sites there, because there are more sites that have added. And over this period, there have been further pollution too. And we're going to take our time, take out these sites in the right sequence.
But there are strong anxiety that the whole process of remediation might be consumed by the politics of the cleanup, especially the interferences of stakeholders and perhaps coming from the host communities.
I started by letting you understand the way HYPREP is structured, that it's structured to be insulated from all such fears. Now, on the governing council, you have the community represented. You have the IOCs represented. You have government represented.
There have been cacophony of voices who is actually the true representation of the host communities.
Well, trust
Are
me,
you saying
trust me,
you've been immune from such divergent voices?
What I'm explaining to you here,
discordant tunes.
if you know about Ogoni, you understand that MOSOP leads Ogoni when it comes to issues like remediation and this process, and they are represented on the governing council. Kagote is another elitist group in Ogoni land, is represented on the board of trustees. And if anybody is telling you about representation in Ogoni and telling you MOSOP and Kagote is represented, trust me, that would mean that the Ogoni people are adequately captured and represented in the governing structure of HYPREP. What that means is that the IOCs, the government, civil society, all represented here. What that also means is that not any of this group on their own could make decisions without consulting with the other.
But we also understand that you mentioned the civil society organizations, and one of the reports given by one of the civil society organizations was that the cleanup is yet to take place because HYPREP was still looking for a dump site to pass the waste when the remediation takes place.
Well, I think we all need to be properly informed. First of all, we don't need a dump site to do any work. So, again, this is not aligned to what we're doing.
But have you heard that
no, I have
school
not,
of thought of the dump sites?
I've not heard about it. And I think our office is open. So for any group that will want to get information about us, to access us online, we have a website, hyprep.gov.ng. We have the Facebook page. We have the Twitter handle. These are places you could get information. Our office is open. So for any civil society that want to talk to us too, it would be good for them to access us and get first-hand information.
So where will the waste be going to?
We wouldn't be generating waste because what we are doing, again, is remediation. We are dealing with contaminated system, a place that is contaminated. And we are putting in place thermal, but remediation, you could do it in various ways. Okay? You could do a biological method. You could do a physical method, you could do a chemical method, you could do a thermal method.
So what method is HYPREP adopting?
I'm coming, and a combination of all of this.
So what method are you adopting?
For you to have an effective remediation, like I told you, every site is different. So you could have a combination, selection of any of these.
What model are you adopting?
You could not tell anyone until you've studied a site.
So what model are you adopting?
That's what I'm explaining, that the sites study we're doing will eventually give us the method to use. You couldn't decide the method before the study, and that's what we've been doing.
We'll come back to the procedural issues in terms of remediation now. Let's look at money issue now. We understand that there is a strong undercurrent coming. Allegations that government is not living up to its expectations, it's not fulfilling its part in the JV agreement. Recently, about a year ago, we understand that Shell released $10 million, and people are asking, where is this money? And HYPREP has not been able to give a cogent answer to this. So where is the $10,000
when you're talking about the commitment of the government, I think we have to be fair to the president. He came,
because the UNEP report has a guideline.
You want me to answer a question, and you're talking about commitment of the federal government. Okay. And the president, as a candidate, visited Ogoni land, and he made a promise: if you elect me, I will implement this report. That has just been lying there. And he started on that. And that he went on to the fact that he's almost getting to the end of his administration,
he went on at least the first term.
He went on to set up all the machinery from the flag off, like I explained, all the governing structure, and I've explained all the projects that we are doing today. And I've also explained the sort of impact we did on the medical outreach.
So where is Shell's $10 million?
There is not a particular company providing any particular amount. The UNEP report is clear. We need $1 billion to do the work.
Yeah, but there is a funding arrangement by the joint venture partners.
And $10 million, sorry, $1 billion to be used for the project. The federal government made a very clear commitment. We are going to provide this money, $200 million every year for the first 5 years. Now, where are we at this point? Just a couple of weeks ago, the Board of Trustees, witnessed by the Vice President, opened an escrow account. The escrow account is the account that will be used to receive the money from the IOCs. And this is where we are. And
but that money... We understand that Shell has threatened... Just answer this. We understand that Shell has threatened that it would not release further amount until HYPREP follows the UNEP guidelines. That's a big indictment.
And HYPREP has been following UNEP guidelines. The IOCs sit on the Board of Trustees. They sit on the Governing Council. So when you quote the IOCs outside of the context of the provision of the governing structure of HYPREP, we are unable to comment on that. But they've shown commitment, and they are giving commitment both in the Governing Council and the Board of Trustees that they are providing the fund, and they have actually provided the funds.
You said the president promised to release 200 million naira every year.
The government of Nigeria promised that $1 billion will be paid 200 million yearly for the first 5 years.
Okay, $200 million yearly.
That's right.
How much has the federal government released now?
Now, there is the process to getting that money released, and that's what I was explaining. There has to be an escrow account that will receive that money, and I'm pleased to tell you that the Board of Trustees opened that account about a month ago, witnessed by the Vice President. So that is the process for accessing that $200